Hey, what's up, everyone? And happy game day to you all. We are one game into the NFL season. We got a primetime game tonight in Brazil between the Chiefs and Chargers, and an absolutely unbelievable NFL Week 1 slate on Sunday into Monday Night Football. And we are here to kick off the season on WST Winners presented by Coolbet. I'm Andrew Paterson, and it is great to have you all joining us, whether you're joining us live on YouTube, checking out the show afterwards, listening to the podcast. The NFL is back, and that means a weekly pick extravaganza with myself and the Coolbet boys, Jake Bolin, Moss, and Pat Gregoire. We are going to get going. I see T. Will and Schickster and Manny Fran in there. And hey, shout out to Manny Fran, who said, winners last night at Coolbet. Thanks. Yeah, we did come in hot to start the season. The Ride With Us 3-gamer. Saquon under rushing yards, CeeDee Lamb over receiving yards, and the Cowboys plus 8.5 came through. So we're feeling good. We are feeling good, but I think any NFL fan is feeling good because the season is here. Our fantasy drafts are over. The futures bets are in, and now it's time to pick the games. Of course, we are presented by our partners at Coolbet. So much going on at Coolbet right now, including a number of special boosted parlays and exclusives that we'll be putting up after the show. If you haven't played a Coolbet before, head on over. Use the promo code WST when you're making your first deposit. We'll give you, we'll double it up. 100% bonus up to $200 on your first deposit. And hey, for all of you Coolbetters that have been with us for a long time, Jake and Pat got a boost for you as well. $50 reload bonus if you use the promo code RELOAD25. Deposit $50 and get $50 bonus dollars to bet on the National Football League or whatever the heck else you want. That's all at Coolbet right now. Let's bring in from Coolbet first off Jake Bolin Moss. Pat will join us in just a couple minutes. JBM, we're back. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, back better than ever. I mean, I'm doing well, Huss, but a little tired, a little groggy. I was talking with Connor off the top. Yeah, a bit groggy here after having to stay up for the extra football on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, between the nonsense at the start of the game and then the extended weather delay, especially for those of you in the Eastern time zone, that probably ended up close to midnight, 1 a.m, something like that.
Yeah, it was about 12:30, I think, by the time it all wrapped up. But the funny thing is, Huss, and I don't really want to pat my own back here because it wasn't my pick. A friend of mine had texted and said his play of the night was the under. And I'll tell you what, in that first half, we were giving him business because it was ugly. 41 points in the first half. And really, you're a touchdown away from losing that bet. 3 second half points, including no points after the break to cash the under. Pretty disgusting for overbetters, but I just happened to be on the right side. I wasn't too mad about staying up. I did cash a couple tickets. And the field goals, man, we got screwed. I mean, it looked like they weren't going to kick a field goal all game. We got 2 before the first half ended, and then 1 early in the second half, and I thought we were going to cruise to the over 3.5 field goals, but another battle there didn't get it done. So 0-1 to start the season, but plenty of prime time left.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you had the over last night, I mean, that is a tough way to start the season. I mean, I believe, was it not touchdowns on the first 5 drives?
Yeah, maybe touchdowns, or they scored on the first 6 drives of the game, I think.
That's right.
I don't even know. Did they even have a punt in the first half?
I don't believe so. I didn't think so. Yeah. I mean, listen, the punters were the chairman of the board last night. There wasn't a lot going on there until, I will say this, both of the defenses, but Dallas in particular, were much better after that break. I mean, whatever they did during the weather delay, they seemed to get it together. Problem is that Philly stepped up as well. I thought Jalen Hurts was absolutely brilliant last night, especially in the first half. This is why he is the most consistent fantasy player there is. It doesn't really matter if it's a big passing game for Jalen Hurts. He's going to get his. And man, we were so close with the first touchdown for Hurts. Fortunately, Javonte Williams got in And Dallas went up 7-0, so it wasn't the first touchdown of the game or the season. But we were in a good spot. All right, I think Patty's good to go. Let's get the 3-man box up right now and welcome in Pat Gregoire. So how are you today? How was Morgan Wallen? And no Mitch Marner for the walkout, apparently. Can't believe it. Oh, he was so mad at that take. Oh, here he is. He's back. Hold on a sec. We got an audio issue with Pat.
Yeah,
Pat, can we hear you now?
I can hear you guys perfectly. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're good to go now. Yeah, we just had you muted. Fire it up. And where was Marner walking out with Morgan Wallen last night?
Marner's going to be showing up at his Las Vegas show wearing his Vegas gold jersey and his gold bucket grittying all over the place. Yeah, like I said, he doesn't feel safe in Toronto anymore. That's why he didn't walk out last night. No show. Nobody. Absolutely no one walked out with Morgan Wallen last night. It was crazy. Don't want to say it ruined the show because it was an unbelievable show, but took me a little while to get fired up after having a no-show. I was convinced it was Matthews because Jake texted me after the show saying, "Oh, he was spotted skating in Toronto. He's in the city." Then a buddy of mine's like, Matthews doesn't like the spotlight. Maybe it's Domi. Maybe it's Domi and his old man. As we know, Ty Domi, he's got his celebrity friends that could have hooked him up, Brady or Mark Wahlberg, whoever, that guy hangs out with. So nonetheless, awesome show. I actually got to watch a good chunk of the game after the concert on the GO train on my way back because of the rain delay. It was nuts.
The one thing that you did miss, and Jake, we should touch on this right off the bat. The bar has been set high for stupidity of NFL players right out of the gate before an offensive snap had even taken place. Jalen Carter gets ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott. Now, look, I know there was more film that kind of came out later on in the game that Dak sort of spit in his direction. But walking right up and hawking a loogie right square into the chest of the starting quarterback before a play's even taken place. We see a lot of dumb things that happen in the National Football League and guys losing their cool and composure. But for that to happen before a snap was even played was, honestly, it will be very tough to top that in the entire season for lack of composure and dumb play on behalf of Jalen Carter. And it ended up being a huge part of the game, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Huss, when it happened and I was sitting there watching it, I'm like, oh my God, is Jalen Carter out of this football game? And yeah, sure enough, they show the replay and it was so blatant. Like you could see it from every camera angle they had. Just the big old loogie right on Dak's chest. And I thought Dak's response today, or maybe that was last night, was actually pretty level-headed. Like he didn't seem too angry, heat of the battle. And early on, in the game, everyone's fired up. And he did spit on the ground in front of him. And, his excuse was, I needed to spit. And, I don't know if Dak's necessarily innocent in all this, but at the same time, Jalen Carter, a guy with not the greatest track record either. Then he goes and spits on the guy. He doesn't even play a snap in the first game of the season. Not a great look. Personally, I don't know if it's going to go any further than this, Huss. I think this is probably it. He gets ejected. It's old news by next week, but we'll see. I mean, I know you'd probably be pretty happy if he was out next week.
Oh, listen, I think we need to protect the integrity of the game. We can't have spitting on opponents. I mean, I think, just to make it clear that this isn't acceptable in the National Football League, I think a one-game suspension is the appropriate penalty for Jalen Carter. He can sit out the Chiefs-Eagles game next week and then return to play under the close watch of Commissioner Goodell in week 3. I don't know whether that's happened. I mean, listen, he did miss the entire game. So I would be surprised if he gets suspended. But for the good of the National Football League, I think this needs to be seriously considered. Boys, we got a Friday nighter tonight, Chiefs and Chargers. I'm looking right now. This is 3. Chiefs minus 169 on the money line. The Chargers are plus 143. I'm going to keep this off the main card. It's kind of a weird game, but I will be putting together, and we're going to try and go 2-0 in prime time out of the gate with the ride with Huss. And I can tell you, it'll involve my man Patrick Mahomes, maybe even Travis Kelce without Rashee Rice tonight. But we'll put that up in the exclusives of the combo cards a little later on today. And we'll definitely roll over that when I've had some more time to lock it in on Winnipeg Sports Talk this afternoon. But every Friday throughout the season, we're going to be here at this time. And we're each going to be making our favorite 4 picks against the spread. We'll track those over the course of the years. We'll have our favorite couple of player props. And the player props are up a lot earlier now at Coolbet as well. It was one thing. Sometimes we had to wait a little bit, not any longer. You got full player prop options for all the NFL games right now at Coolbet. So if you want to follow along with us or start diving in on your own, that is all up there. And then as we did last year, we will all pick a touchdown score, and we'll put that together for a little pay dirt parlay at the end of the game. And just because so many of us are in Survivor, we'll quickly mention what we're taking in Survivor this week. And by the way, this is a tough one. Listen, just before we get to it, and Patty, just when you coming in, I'm going to start with you with your picks against the spread. And we can just kind of roll through. We don't have to go into major because we're going to talk about a bunch of these games. But we'll go. You can fire off your 4, Jake, your 4, and then I'll get to mine. But just before we do that for folks, I mean, we are doing this live Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Here's what we've got as we do these picks. These are the lines we're using for this weekend. The game tonight is Chiefs -3. I'm going to probably take that to 2.5 just for the ride with Huss, so there's no push. But there are so many close lines. I think earlier and throughout the week, we've had 10 of 16 of these games this week were 3 points or less, which is very tough for picking Survivor picks. Here's what we've got. Noon slate on Sunday. Bucks and Falcons in Atlanta. Tampa's a 2.5 favorite. Bengals and Browns in the dog pound in Cleveland. It is Cincinnati -5 in Cleveland. The Dolphins and the Colts is a pick 'em in Indy. Carolina, a 3-point underdog in Jacksonville against the Jags. We've got the Vegas Raiders and New England Patriots playing in Foxborough. New England, 2.5-point faves. The Arizona Cardinals, 6-point favorites in New Orleans against the Saints. We were sort of joking, talking about Survivor. Arizona, I'm like, I could see New Orleans winning this game and going 1-16. Not a game that I will probably be on, but we'll see if the other guys are touching on it. A very interesting double revenge game. Pittsburgh and the Jets. The Steelers are 2.5-point favorites on the road in New York. Divisional game, NFC East, Giants and Commanders. Commanders, 5-point home favorites. The Giants getting 5 on the road. Denver's the biggest favorite on the board. Now that the Eagles-Dallas game is concluded, Denver is 8-point favorites against the Titans. Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick, making his debut. We've got the Niners and the Seahawks in Seattle. San Francisco -1.5. If you're a CMC owner, you did not like that tweet from Adam Schefter last night that he has all of a sudden appeared on the injury report out of nowhere going into the weekend. Lions-Packers at 325. Packers -2 in Lambeau. Rams, 3-point favorites at home against the Houston Texans. One of the games of the year, and we get it in week 1. Bills, Ravens, Sunday Night Football. This is, I mean, I still think of this game as basically a pick 'em. It's right now, I guess, Baltimore -1. Baltimore -120 on the money line. Bills +102 on the money line. But I guess if you're taking Bills, you'll get the point. And then the Monday Nighter is the Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Normally we'll play the Vikings, the Monday Nighters, when we're doing the shows. But for the Monday night games are on the table for picks as far as our top 4 each and every week. Now I know Pat's in sort of a bad spot right now, Jake. So we'll the two of us will get through our picks, and if he can't be live, we'll get him to text us them, and then we can cook up some parlays at the end of it. But Let's start it off. In fact, if Pat's not here, why don't you give me your first two? I'll come back with two. Then we can go 2-2. We'll see if we're on any of the same games. But what are your favorite couple spread picks for week one right now as we get going on WST Winners?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to get started with a very heavy public side. I get why it's a heavy public side. I don't even like this team. I talked about it last week on Friday during the Future Show, but I'm taking the Broncos -8. There's too much good for the Broncos and too much unknown for the Titans where, I think this is a game where Bo Nix, Sean Payton, the experience outweighs what Cam Ward and the Titans do. So, you look at the numbers. Bo Nix in his career, 12-5 against the spread in his rookie season, the regular season. He closed as a favorite 8 times in his career in 17 starts. He was 8-0 straight up and against the spread in those games, covering it by 14 points. So, listen, when the Broncos are favorites, they win big. And if you look at the number one overall stats, first overall picks in their first start, 5-22-1 straight up, 8-20 against the spread. Caleb Williams did win last year. He broke a long drought that dated all the way back to 2002 when David Carr won his first start as the number one overall pick. So, the strong defense of Denver, one of the top units in the league, experienced head coach in Sean Payton, a guy in Bo Nix who shown he's a pretty solid player at quarterback against a rookie quarterback in his first start in the league. Give me the Broncos at home -8. I know it's a super public side, but I just can't shy away from it. I think you're muted, Huss.
What about number 2 on your board there, Jake?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I forgot we were doing 2. I'm going with an underdog, divisional home dog, and the boys are going to be barking in the doghouse. Browns +5. Listen, I don't know if Mayo's in my head a little bit about getting competent quarterback play out of Joe Flacco, and we'll see as the year progresses which way the direction the Browns move. But we've seen the early struggles from Burrow and the Bengals. Burrow is 1-9 straight up and 3-7 against the spread in his first 2 games of the season. Zach Taylor also not a good record in September. With Andy Dalton and Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor is 7-14-1 straight up in September and 5-7 straight up as the favorite. So, I'm not even looking at Browns +5. I might even sprinkle a little bit of money line. We'll have to see. The Bengals are going to prove to us if they are a new team, if they've fixed their ways. But we know for a fact that the Bengals defense is not a good unit. And, if the Browns are competent, they get good, solid quarterback play to Flacco. They have some weapons, and Jerry Jeudy, Jerome Ford. As long as they can move the ball down the field, which shouldn't be too hard against this Bengals defense, then it's going to be up to the Bengals to match that pace. So 5 points is a lot in a divisional position. I think the divisional home dog is a big winner. Divisional home dogs, Huss, since 2010, 23-7 against the spread in week 1. So hard to shy away from that number there. I'm taking the Browns +5.
All right, so we've got Denver and Cleveland at the start of Jake's card. I will start off with another divisional game. And listen, I am buying the good vibes coming out of New York in and around the Giants. Now, this is not really about Russell Wilson, as much as I do think he'll give them competent quarterbacking. I know they're really excited about Jackson Dart. I think we are going to see him at some point this season. But to me, and listen, this happens every single year around this time when all we're worrying about is fantasy players and everyone's doing their drafts and we focus so much on the offense. I'm here to tell you that this Giants defense is going to be a serious problem for their opponents this year. I think Abdul Carter, if he stays healthy, is going to run away with the defensive player of the year. And he is going to be a game wrecker that is something that the Giants just simply have not had on that side of the football. They've really jacked up their pass rush in their defensive line. And I thought that they showed some signs later on for some of their younger players of coming around. So to me, the Giants are undervalued, I think, at this point of the season. And here's the other thing with Washington. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's a superstar right now. And I do think that with Terry McLaurin and now Deebo Samuel, he definitely has some real weapons to use. But to me, the bar was set so high for them last year. Like, I hope people don't jump off the Jaden Daniels train if he just doesn't come right out of the gate like the Superman that he was last year, taking Washington as far as they did. I'm taking the Giants +5 in this. And this is not any sort of fade of Washington, although I do think they might regress a little bit from that great season they had last year. But to me, this is buying the Giants defense, their ability to keep games close. And I think at 5 points, even on the road, this is going to be a statement game that the Giants are not the loser pushover group that they've been the last few years. And I think this one will be tight in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to take the Giants at +5. My other favorite game, and I could have easily started with this one, is the Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5. Now, listen, I mean, I prefer to take home teams. I prefer to take home dogs, but this game is a little different in that it is the double revenge game. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields have literally swapped places. Reminds me of MBT and Cody Fajardo in the CFL last season. Aaron Rodgers is coming in with this Steelers team. An incredible defense while we're talking about defenses. I mean, the addition of Jalen Ramsey probably puts Pittsburgh into the top 2-3 secondaries in the league. They've got a good linebacking core. You got TJ Watt up front. I mean, this is going to be a handful for any NFL offense to go up against. And dare I say that a Justin Fields-led Jet offense is towards the bottom of the power poll than, in comparison to most of the rest of the way. Pittsburgh's laying 2.5 in this. I mean, I'm glad that it's not at 3, because I think at 3, we're then getting into the point where the value might not be there. But let's face it, Aaron Rodgers, there's a lot. Great quarterback, massive ego. This guy's got a lot to prove. It was an embarrassing way things went in New York. And who better to show that he's not washed than his former team? I think Pittsburgh's going to be good. And I will give Rodgers credit. And maybe this is more credit to Mike Tomlin, but the way things work, Jake, through camp when he signed, because there was all the noise. Oh, what is he going to do? He took forever to make his decision. When he did make his decision, he went to Pittsburgh, he worked, and he shut the hell up. And we didn't hear anything out of Pittsburgh camp about Aaron Rodgers. And to me, that is a great sign that Mike Tomlin brought him in under certain conditions, and he's buying in. And I'll tell you what, you look back at Aaron Rodgers' season, and I know we kind of think about this time in New York as a disaster. He was tied with Josh Allen in touchdown passes last year. He had more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes. I think he finished at 28 and 11. So he definitely trended well at the end of the season. I think a lot of that was just getting further and further away from the Achilles injury of 2 years ago at this point. So long story short, I'm buying the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they have another winning season. We talked about them making the playoffs and plus money in the future show. I'm going to start off with the Steelers at -2.5 with my other pick. So I'm in on the Giants +5. Pittsburgh is in +5. And Pat's having a bit of a connection problem, but I told him to send me his picks. And funny enough, Jake, I'm just looking right now. He actually started off. So we're in lockstep. Patty loves the Giants +5 and Pittsburgh -2.5. We're on different games for our other two, but gives you an idea that, if you're looking at ones where we started off our cards, those are the two that both Pat and myself liked. Well, what about your third pick, Jake?
Well, listen, Huss, I think we have a unanimous spread pick to start our parlay. I'm on the Steelers -2.5. Okay. Listen, you have pounded the table for Mike Tomlin, and I think you're really right about this whole training camp thing where we haven't heard a lot out of Steelers training camp and Aaron Rodgers. From the moment he's gotten there, it's been all business. That's what it's felt like. And people forget Mike Tomlin was the coach of a team that had Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. Like, he knows how to handle divas, and he's done it very well. This is a guy who wins football games. So you take Aaron Rodgers from an incompetent organization in the Jets, you move him over to a competent organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think you have a pretty strong recipe there with a good defense, some weapons. They bring DK Metcalf in. I think this is going to be a nice bounce back year for Rodgers. I don't think it's going to be an MVP caliber year, but I don't think it needs to be an MVP caliber year. You look on the other side, Justin Fields, the New York Jets. Like, I don't really know. I'm not sold on them. They're going to have to really sell me a rookie head coach in Aaron Glenn. I'm just going to have to see it to believe it. And I think in week one, I don't think we're going to see it. So I'm with you. Steelers minus 2.5 is on my card as my third pick. And I'll jump into my fourth pick here. I'm taking another divisional dog, home divisional dog. There was a few this week. We go in. San Francisco, the news comes out. Christian McCaffrey, limited at practice, calf injury. And I know Connor's going to hate me for this. I'm taking the Seahawks plus 1.5 as a home divisional dog. Sammy Darts, your guy, Huss. I don't know if we've been talking too much and I'm just buying into everything you're selling. But Sammy Darts, I know he's your guy. He's got some good weapons there. Kenneth Walker, JSN, Cooper Kupp is in Seattle now, if you didn't know, folks. I didn't know until a few weeks ago. I think San Fran will be okay, but there's just so many injuries with that team early in the season right now. No Ayuk, Debo's out. We don't know, how much McCaffrey is going to be able to go. I think, it's going to be a big game from George Kittle. That'll be great. But I think the Seahawks find a way to, hopefully keep it real close if we're hoping for the spread, but maybe even win this game at home. Seattle, not an easy place to play in either, Huss. The 12th man is real in Seattle, and I'm going to jump on them as a home divisional dog.
It's funny. All right, so Seattle's in as a home dog, and I'm sure many of you had the same thing happen. The game is just getting going last night, and there's texts flying out. It's the first night of fantasy, all your leagues, everyone's popping off, and I just get the commissioner of one of our leagues just sent in the text chain just the Adam Schefter tweet. Christian McCaffrey has been added to the practice report after being a full participant in practice. And like CMC owners everywhere are just going, you have got to be kidding me. I got burned last year. I didn't get back in. He's so good when he's in. But listen, just for the Niners, for the game, for those of us as fans with no skin in the game, I hope he'll be able to go and play because he's so damn good when he's in there. But again, you can't help the club from the tub, so he's got to be in there. All right, my next, my other two spread picks for this week. We started off with the Giants in Pittsburgh. I am going to. This is a team that I like, and this is a game actually that. Well, I'm going to go to the Sunday nighter. Actually, for this one, I can't leave this one off the card. This one has been a pick 'em all week, and I have to admit I'm a little surprised that we're seeing this game being bet in the favor of the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, this is an incredible matchup, and to me, this is a pick 'em. I know right now we're getting Buffalo +1 and plus money on the money line. But to me, this is a pick 'em. It came out as a pick 'em. I don't know how you really pick between these two teams. I do think it's a little disrespectful to Buffalo, frankly. This is a home game, and we're talking about a pick 'em. And listen, if you look back over the last number of years, the one thing that the Ravens don't do particularly well is start well. Lamar Jackson didn't play it down in the preseason. And listen, they got to go up against a team that has big-time Super Bowl aspirations. And I know this is week one, but don't think for a second that this game might not be the difference between home field in the AFC, because I think we all expect both of these teams to win their divisions and finish with really strong rounds. I think the Bills are a pretty damn complete team. I think they're going to be playing in an absolute madhouse, which is not going to be an easy spot for Lamar and the gang to be in. Now, listen, it's not Buffalo at the end of December, but it's a great spot for Buffalo to be starting off their season. I'm buying Buffalo. I think they'll be in the AFC Championship game. And I think that the Ravens are going to be one of those teams that have their middling start, 2-2, 3-3, and then just go on a run, win the division, and are hot at the end of the season. And then everyone will be jumping on them to potentially pulling some upsets in the playoffs. But I'm going to take Buffalo at the +1. I think they win this game. I think it's going to be a great one. The total on this one, by the way, just while I know we're kind of looking at spreads, but this is the highest total of the week in the National Football League. It's the one game that's top 50. Total for this one is 50.5. But I'm riding with the Bills as a very slight home dog against the Ravens. And bottom line is, I cannot wait for that football game. What a treat we've got for the Sunday nighter. All right, my fourth pick, my last pick. I had a real tough time deciding between these two games. I am very much in favor of the Colts. And I'll be getting into the Colts when we get into a couple of our player props. And I was going to just go with Indy at -111. And as I talk myself out, I've got two games that I sort of like. But maybe I do just stay with that. Just keep it simple. Go with the home dog. My other team, and I'll get to that pick in a minute. But you know what? I will roll with that. I know I'm higher on Danny Dimes than a lot of other people. I think Tyler Warren's injection into the Colts offense is going to be big. I think Jonathan Taylor is due for a monster season and a great start to the year. And I just think the Colts with Dimes are going to be so much more efficient in that, you know, if he has time to get the football out, he's pretty damn accurate passer. And between Downs and Pittman and Warren and Taylor, I think they've got some weapons to actually be a team that matters this year. I'm not so sure about the Miami Dolphins. Now, they've had quite the camp. Tyreek Hill hasn't very much practiced. I mean, granted, it when healthy with Tua and Waddle and obviously Tyreek and a chain, they probably are certainly a more lethal offensive team than Indy is. But man, I worry about the Dolphins' rush defense, and I worry overall about the psyche of the team because it really does seem like the expectations are of a step back, and certainly all the nonsense with Tyreek in the offseason, I don't think really helped things going forward. And Mike McDaniel is maybe under as much pressure as almost any coach in the league to begin the season. So I'll take the Colts as a pick 'em. -111 on the money line to win their game. The other game that I thought long and hard about, and you know, I'll probably put in on a parlay or two, is Detroit in Green Bay. Now, I know that the Micah Parsons trade flipped the odds in the division. And then I got thinking more and more about this game. I mean, Parsons apparently is dealing with some sort of back thing. I don't know whether he'll play or how effective he'll be. Listen, I got a lot of time for Green Bay. I think they probably, you know, by the time we get to the end of the season, I think they will be maybe the team to beat in the NFC. Right now, though, I think Dan Campbell's Lions come out, Jake, with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. It was all our coordinators that went out. That's why everyone's kind of off of us. There's going to be a real, I think, Detroit against the world mentality from that team that we saw maybe a few years ago. Despite having such an incredible season last year. And the fact that they're getting 2 points and are a plus money underdog, I won't put that in our main pick, but I do like Detroit at +2.5. I think I will have a piece of them on the money line. And this is one of those big divisional games that could be a huge swing factor later on in the season. But while I do like Green Bay, I kind of think that people are sleeping on Detroit a little bit. I'll get to Patty's, but just quickly, what do you think about that Detroit Green Bay game?
Yeah, it was a tough one for me. I had to keep it off the card, but like you said, Huss, Dan Campbell coaches better with a chip on his shoulder, and I think a lot of people are looking at that, you know, the coordinator situation there with, you know, Ben Johnson on the move, Aaron Glenn on the move. Like, what's that going to look like? I still think the talent is there in Detroit, and, you know, divisional dog, Huss. You know I can't shy away from a divisional dog, so I'm with you there. Colts were another team. They were like the 5th team on my card. Like, that was going to be the other one. I just couldn't bite the bullet on it, but I do like that pick as well. You mentioned earlier Colts over the Dolphins, and with the number it is, you can just take them right on the money line.
All right, I'm just putting all these down so we can get in for our parlays. But Jake, you've got Cleveland
Yep.
+5. You have Pitt -2.5. What are the other ones again?
I had Seattle +1.5.
Seattle +1.5.
And then the Broncos -8,
Damn.
which I'd like to keep off a parlay. There's too much riding on the Broncos.
I've got Indy as a pick. And the other game I have is the Bills. Bills +1. All right. Pat is on the Giants and Steelers. Pat's other one, and this is interesting. I thought long and hard about this one. Carolina Jacksonville is all of a sudden a really fascinating game. Like,
Very.
If you got the 7 TVs, you may have to really lobby to get it on one of them. But I got to tell you, I'm really interested in seeing this Carolina offense with Tedroa McMillan in there. And I mean, Travis Hunter playing both ways, not necessarily a fantasy thing, but I mean, if he's playing 80% of snaps on both sides, that's going to be worth watching. Now, Carolina's a 3.5-point dog on the road. Pat's on the Panthers. He's buying what Bryce Young and Dave Canales are selling. The fact this was 3, it's now 3.5, I think is, sort of good. I could definitely see this game being close. You got a brand new head coach in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence using another offensive coordinator, another coaching staff. It seems to be, just a revolving door around there. So Pat's in on Carolina. I don't mind that at all. And then his final pick, he's going to the Monday Nighter. And Jake, what a matchup this one is. And again, we'll have time on WST to talk about it. But J.J. McCarthy going up against Caleb Williams. This game is in Chicago. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite. By the way, Viking fans, check out Friday's Winnipeg Sports Talk. We're going to be doing a big Viking preview for all the Vike fans around here with Matthew Collard, the Purple Insider. Going to be a great segment. So check that out. But I'm so pumped, Jake, that this game is on Monday night, in that we get a chance to see J.J. McCarthy for the first time in prime time. And what a crazy situation for him. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy is a top 15 quarterback, I think the Vikings are a legit contender. If he can be in and around the top 10, and it's not out of the question with the weapons that they have, this team could potentially win the Super Bowl. If he's not ready for prime time, this team takes a big, big step back. So while I don't think we'll make all conclusions made after one game, under the lights of prime time on Monday Night Football for your first start on a team that just went 14-3, pretty good stuff. Pat's on the Vikings in this one to round out the picks. Now, we will put together a parlay for all of those, but why don't we let's do the parlays together at the end, Jake, once we get all these picks in, because we do want to get to our favorite player props of the week. What do we got here? I had cooked up a couple, and there was a few. And listen, I'm going to go back to this Indy game in that I'm really high on on Jonathan Taylor. And I think that Taylor is going to be the focus of the offense. It's the one thing that they can count on. And I love the Colts offensive line. And establishing that run game is going to be big for allowing Danny Dimes to get into a bit of a rhythm and connecting with his receivers. So I think Taylor, maybe amongst all running backs this week, gets the touches, 20, 25, to put him over a certain number. I do think they'll find different ways of getting him the football, though. So instead of just going to a straight rushing prop, I loved that Coolbet was hanging plus money, plus 101 on Jonathan Taylor rushing and receiving yards combined over 99.5. I think he gets triple digits total. Some of them might be screen passes. So I like the fact that I can get them both into one bet. So I'm rolling with Jonathan Taylor over 99.5 combined yards, both rushing and receiving, for my first player prop. And then the other one is a guy that, listen, we didn't see a lot of. People were not watching the Jacksonville Jaguars for obvious reasons in the second half of the season. But I'm here to tell you that this guy, Brian Thomas, is an absolute problem. And for a Carolina secondary that I think still needs some work, I think they are going to be dealing with this guy all afternoon long. Brian Thomas's over-under for receiving yards this week is 76.5. I don't just think he could go over in this game. I think he could blow this up. I'm actually looking at him as a little sprinkle for the league leaders on Sundays, and that's in the specials. But Brian Thomas over 76.5. I love that receiving prop. And then I'm going to go big game from Jonathan Taylor in the Colts-Miami game over 99.5. What are your favorite player props, Jake?
Yeah, I actually have one from the Jags game as well. So let's start there. It's not a Brian Thomas Jr., but it is another junior, Travis Etienne Jr. You know, I jumped around on where I wanted to go with this. I looked at his rushing number. Surprisingly, it was lower than Tank's. And, you know, that got me thinking, well, you know, maybe Etienne's going to be a bigger part of the pass game. You know, he's going to be that safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. So I'm taking his over receiving yards, 13.5. I thought was quite a low number. You know, he's still listed as the number one receiver on the depth chart in Jacksonville. He finished last season clearing this total 5 straight games with 20-plus receiving yards in 4 of those 5 games. And he had 52 targets last year from Lawrence. Over the comparison, you look at Tank's targets, he had 12. So listen, Tank's not going to be as big of a factor in the passing game as Etienne will be. I think Etienne's the third down back for sure. Even if Tank's in there, you know, getting some reps. So, you know, at 13.5, I thought was a pretty low number. He could probably get that on 2 receptions. I also don't mind his receptions, not up yet, but I've looked around to see what it might be. 2.5 receptions. I like the over there as well with Etienne. So that's my first player prop there. The next one, I had to get my guy in here. Listen, I figured we probably weren't going to talk about this Pats Raiders game. And, you know, understandably, two pretty ugly teams that, you know, I don't really want to talk about just yet until I see them play. But I'm taking Drake May over 29.5 rushing yards. Listen, May had over 400 rushing yards with 0 design runs last season. They basically didn't design anything for May. A lot of it was scrambling. But I think with McDaniels back, Vrabel, I think they're going to find a way to utilize his legs a bit more. So, you know, if we can get 5, 6 rushing attempts, you know, you include the scrambles in there as well. I think May hitting 30 yards on the ground, it's going to help this team win football games. And if that's what they're trying to do in the end, then I think his legs are going to be just as important as his arm. Obviously staying healthy is important too, but you watch what Hurts did last night. You know, play breaks down a bit, nothing downfield, take off, find some room, go get a first down. I think that's what we're going to see at Drake May. So 29.5, I thought was a pretty nice number. So I got him over 29.5, minus 103. So pretty good juice there as well. So those are my 2 picks. I don't know if you want to get into Patty's here before we jump into TD scores.
Yeah, so Etienne over 13.5 receiving yards and Drake May over 29.5 rushing yards. I love that, actually. I think that I'm not sure people realize the legs on Drake May. I mean, listen, that was a team that wasn't getting a lot of big time games. They were often playing in the noon slate when there was a lot of other things going on. You know, one of the things that makes him, you know, the prospect that he is the fact that he really can operate outside of the pocket and make things happen with his legs. So I don't mind that. The one, okay, Patty's got a couple. He's loving Malik Neighbors to go over 73.5 receiving yards in that Giants game. Guy is just a target machine. And if Russ knows what's good for him, if he wants to stay playing as QB1, he'll be feeding Neighbors as much as possible. And then he's going to one of your top fantasy players on the running back position, but actually on the receiving side of things, Bijan Robinson over 20.5 receiving yards. One's up to minus 141 right now. But Bijan, I mean, another player that, you know, much like I was talking about Jonathan Taylor earlier, I think he'll be a real central focus. That's how you help a young quarterback like Michael Penix. And I think they'll find different ways of getting him the football. So Patty's on the over, Neighbors receiving yards and Bijan receiving yards. One other thing before we get into cooking some stuff up is our TD scorers. Pat is in with Chase Brown in Cincinnati to get into the end zone. Jake, what's your favorite touchdown prop for this slate?
I don't know. I'll probably get some crap for this, Huss, but I'm taking a flyer this week. I think, I'm looking at matchups. I'm looking to see what kind of makes sense in my mind. I'm going Trey McBride. This was a guy, a lot of focus on him last year, not getting that touchdown until late in the season. I think he ended up with a couple, but a pretty good number, plus 189 against the Saints defense that's not expected to be very good this season. He was 6th in targets inside the 10-yard line last season. And I think he was the number one tight end targeted inside the 10 as well. So I think this is a guy that Kyler looks to when they get down into the red zone area. I think he's going to have a big year. I think obviously fantasy owners, fantasy drafters, they saw how high he was ranked. The experts believe it's going to be a big year from Trey McBride. Young tight end, get him off to a hot start at a good number, plus 189, Trey McBride.
Love it. Love it. The guy's certainly due to get into the end zone. He was a catch machine, but just wasn't doing it there. And hey, what better team to do it against than the New Orleans Saints?
Agreed.
Agreed. This could be the week. I was going to go Jonathan Taylor, but I seem to be so tied up in Taylor. I've got the Colts. I've got him on the over 99.5. I mean, if you wanted to take a touchdown for Taylor, I certainly endorse it. But not to fully curse the Colts and every one of my picks by going all into one. I'm going to stay away from that for my anytime touchdown pick. And I'm going to go to the game that I was thinking about betting, Detroit Green Bay. And I'm going to throw one down for Jahmyr Gibbs, who is minus 115 to get into the end zone. Listen, Gibbs has the potential to be RB1 this year in the NFL. Now, I know David Montgomery's still kicking around, and it is always frustrating for Gibbs owners in fantasy to see the amount of touches he gets and some of the goal line work. But we saw as the season went on last night, you just need to give Jahmyr Gibbs more touches because he makes things happen. And I think they're going to get to that right out of the gate. He's healthy. He's ready to go. There's nothing that helps an offense go more than a dynamic back that can take it into the house from distance. And of course, he can do it rushing or he can do it receiving. I do have a couple of plays on Gibbs to lead the league in rushing yards this year. And again, the number is higher because of the backfield that he's in. But make no mistake, if he gets out to a great start and gets going, can stay healthy, he's going to be right in that mix. So let's go with the Gibbs anytime touchdown. Let's kind of fire into our parlays here now, dude. So this is pretty simple. We've got our touchdown scorer, Chase Brown, McBride, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Write these down. Sorry, Huss.
Yeah, no problem. Or actually, you know what? I can do it. I mean, I've kind of written them down. I'll just kind of note it, and then I'll text you afterwards with what we want to go with. Okay. As far as our, like, do you want to do a player prop parlay as well before we do a big one? Like with
let's do three. Let's do touchdowns, let's do spreads, and let's do a player prop one.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, between the two plays that I have, I think I'm going to go with the Brian Thomas over 76.5 receiving yards. So that'll be my one. I like both of yours. Which I think
Huss, I think you've made the decision for us, because if we're going Jacksonville, let's go to the Patriots. You said you like May anyway, so let's go May.
I do like rushing. May. Excellent. Okay, so Drake May rushing yards. And then what do you like better? Neighbors over 73.5 receiving yards, or Bijan 20.5?
I thought 20.5 seemed low to me. I like both numbers that Patty chose, but that Bijan number seemed pretty low to me. What do you think?
The Neighbors 73.5 is minus 130. It might be a little low, the 20.5, because it's minus 141, if that changes it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking a bit of juice.
So yeah, okay. So why don't we do that? We've got receiving yards for Bijan Robinson over 20.5. We've got Brian Thomas over 76.5 receiving yards, and Drake May over 29.5 rushing yards. All right, so there we go. Now we'll have these up, and I believe the combo cards or the exclusives. We'll tweet them out as well, but you know where to do it. And I'd say even if you like the picks, hold off betting them, because when these get posted, Those are always a nice little boost. So take advantage of that before doing it yourself. All right. Well, I mean, I think we have to put Pittsburgh in, although history will tell us when we're all on one side of a game, that's the time my hairs bring up. But hey, it's week 1. The vibes are high. We nailed the Thursday nighter last night. So I think we just have to have confidence that Pittsburgh is the pick and we put them off to start it. When you go through yours, you've got Cleveland, Seattle, Denver. Which is the game that you're kind of feeling? Or do we want to go with Pittsburgh? We've also got the Giants that Pat and I are both on, which we could put in.
Yeah, I mean, I would listen. I think Pittsburgh Giants is absolutely where we start.
Okay.
I don't mind Indy on the money line. I think that's a good play. And I mean, I would pound the table for the Seahawks. I just think it's a little messy right now with San Fran. Seahawks at home, 12th man. That would be the other one that I'd pound the table for. But I think either Indy on the money line. I mean, those are 2 of Patty's picks anyways. Like he's in a good spot here. I think we do either your Indy on the money line, which is probably going to be my 5th pick if we had one, or if you like the Seahawks with me, we can ride Seattle at +1.5.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lean Indy in this one, and the only reason I say that is that, and I mean, I guess Danny Dimes is a new quarterback. Just going up against San Francisco in that environment, first game for Sam Darnold against a team that we all expect to be really good if they're healthy. But
they're not healthy, huh?
I know. Well, thing is, I don't know. Like, are we freaking out? Like, I mean, McCaffrey could still go for 170 on Sunday. I mean, like you said, he's limited. Juwan Jennings miraculously is practicing again. Now the games are happening. I mean, something tells me that was a whole.
Well, he got a new deal too. He got a new deal.
Oh, geez, funny how that works. I guess the other one is Denver. I mean, the Denver.
Listen, Huss, I don't want too much riding on Denver. The number is so big. I think I'd rather go Indy money line than going Denver.
All right. So if we go Pittsburgh, we go the Giants, and we go Indy as a pick 'em. We'll get the Giants, I guess, to 5.5.
That's what I put at. Yeah,
it's at 5 right now. So we'll put those together. Are they? What about the Bills? Well, whatever. I'll be putting something at Bills, and they'll be.
Patty's not going to want the Bills.
Yeah, because he think that will freak him out. He's going to be. Why does he think the Ravens are going to win?
It'll be our. Well, he never likes to bet his team. It'll be our fault they lose.
That's a good point. Yeah, we can't be worrying about that on our conscience right off the bat. Managing to stay away from our favorite teams, just trying to use our brains in this one, and. So we'll roll it with that. We're going to put this together. Pittsburgh -2.5, the Giants +5.5, and Indy as a pick 'em. And we'll get that together for our first WST Winners tag team partner parlay for the week and week 1 of the National Football League.
Now, Huss, what I think I'll do is just looking at everything. So for the touchdown scorers, that'll be a combo card. For the spreads, that'll be a combo card. But for the player props, just because the numbers do tend to move, I'll probably do an exclusive just so it doesn't come off the board. What happens with the combo cards, for a little peek behind the curtain for the people, if a number is not available in the book, then the combo card disappears. So that's what you'll see it happen with sometimes a CFL parlay, which I have our guy hold the lines open for your guys' CFL 110 parlay. But, say Bijan's receiving yards goes up to 21.5 or 22.5, it'll completely come offline on the combo cards. You won't be able to access it. So I'll keep that one specifically in the exclusives. It's just easier for everybody.
Excellent. So if you like the player prop, that's our May, Brian Thomas, and Bijan one. Check the exclusives. It'll be at the bottom under WST or WST Winners. But our spread picks, which is going to be Pittsburgh Giants, Indy, that's going to be together in the combo cards, as well as our touchdown scorer parlay. I'd love to hit one of those early in the season. Be so good. We got
You're going to get some juice on this one. McBride's going to help juice that thing up. So we'll see.
Big time. What is the number on McBride? Is he about 2-1 or?
Yeah, plus 189.
189. Excellent. So yeah, I like the aggressive pick. And hey, no better place to do it than the Superdome. coming up this week. So we'll get those up in the combo cards. If you jumped in late, don't forget, even if you've been playing at Coolbet for a long time, week 1 reload bonus is available. Deposit $50. Use the promo code RELOAD25. You'll get a $50 bonus in the account as well to throw on the boosted parlays, your favorite picks, or you name it. You did mention CFL for 1 second. Big triple header tomorrow in the league. I know BC Ottawa's playing tonight. I have a feeling that might play second fiddle to the Chiefs Chargers. But the CFL week 14 boosted parlay is up as well in the combo cards right at the top. Montreal plus 3.5, Bombers money line, Calgary minus 5.5, and great boost there, plus 492 to plus 565. So that's there. Jake, I know you just quickly before we go, you got a bunch of college football plays and exclusives and props up. I mean, obviously CFB's big. These are the weeks where you got these like 48.5 point spreads with some of these massive mismatches. But there's some fun stuff there. And I will say this, just one other non-football wager that I'm in on. I couldn't stay away from it. Felix Auger-Aliassime is on a tear right now. He's just beaten 3 top 15 players to get to the U.S. Open semifinals. He's going up against Yannick Sinner. And I think Felix is criminally underrated in this game. I cannot remember a semifinal of a Grand Slam where somebody was a 12-1 underdog. Sinner's minus 33. And listen, he's had a few hiccups. Shapo won a set against him. Felix is playing some of the best tennis of his career. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I'm certainly not missing out on 12-1 on him. So there's a little sprinkle on our Canadian tennis star to get to the U.S. Open final. That game a little later on today. Felix plus 1,200 to move on to it. And again,
Duck Dad just said Huss as well. Felix to win just a set is plus money, so it's probably plus 2.5 on the set. There it is. Yeah, plus 167 at Felix plus 2.5. So if you want, a little backing, Huss, you get a little sprinkle on the money line, 12-1. Can't be mad there. But if you just take him plus 2.5 on the set spread, that at least guarantees if he wins a set, you're winning some money.
Love it. So, listen, I think a lot of people are going to be watching this match, and Felix is he's on a run. John Horn, who's a regular of ours on WST around the big tennis events, came on and told us going into the quarters, the Victoria Mboko maybe could do something truly special in Montreal, and we rode that all the way to the final. John came on before the de Minaur match and said that Felix, who was a plus 130 underdog, not only can he win this, but, playing the way that he is right now, he'll be a very tough test for Yannick Sinner. So I'll tell you what, I would have been on this at 7-1, 8-1, 12-1. Impossible not to. And as Doug said, if you do want to go in there, tweak it with the sets, just to go for a competitive match, you can get plus money on that. Oh my God, we got the taste of it last night. I got my Chiefs tonight. Check out, we will have a ride with Huss. We're going to try and go 2-0 to start off the season after the winner last night. And then, Jake, a Sunday slate that I think is going to be tough to beat the rest of the year. Tons of tight games, some great divisional matchups, and then the main event, ding, ding, Bills, Ravens, Sunday Night Football. Come on.
Yeah, hell of a start. You get the Eagles and Cowboys last night. I thought was a pretty good game. Obviously, second half was a bit of a snoozer after the break, but then you got Bills, Ravens, like you mentioned, Vikings, Bears on Monday night. We got some really good primetime matchups this week. And tonight, Chiefs, Chargers. I'll be honest, Huss, I am leaning Chargers a little bit. Sorry to say, but might just go spread on the Chargers. Hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes winning a football game. So we'll see. I haven't made my official pick yet.
Listen, good. It's tough to go perfect for a week. Get your L out tonight, and then you can run the table. You can run the table on Sunday.
Perfect.
Listen, Pat's getting ready for the NLL draft right now. He'll be a regular on it, but so with everything going on, we got him to send in his picks. We held it down. And in future shows, We will have a little overtime segment on WST Winners where producer Connor Rabchak can come in with both 49ers propaganda and his picks. And we'll certainly get Connor involved as well as the season continues.
Huss, we talked about all these tight spreads. Are we giving out our survivor picks for the week? I know we haven't done it yet.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. We cannot not do survivor picks. I can't remember a week one where there were so few sort of obvious picks. A lot of people jumped on Philly last night and really had to sweat that out. I mean, the Cowboys had the ball down 4 with 3 minutes left in the football game. Pat had Philly. What did he say? I mean, listen, that is
easy to say. It's easy to say that Friday morning that you had Philly as your survivor pick. Eh?
Yes, but I mean, listen, and I think this is the chalk. My survivor this peak was Eagles, but if I had to pick another, the Broncos would be the other. I'm predicting 65% of survivor picks are going to be Denver this week, which is something that does make me nervous, and why I kind of stayed away from that game because I think they are the most obvious one. I looked up and down, and listen, you won't see me taking very many road teams in Survivor, but knowing the trap that Denver maybe felt like, or just ignoring it, not wanting to do the same pick, I'm taking the Steelers. Like, I just don't see, Aaron Rodgers is going to go in and find a way to win that football game, and I think the Steelers are a better team than the Jets as well. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh as the survivor pick and hope that maybe Cam Ward can have an incredible start to his career with a massive upset that turns your pools on its sides.
Yeah, that's really mean, Huss, because I got the Broncos as mine. I know, and I know it's the favorite. I've been trying to get away from it all week. Like, I'm trying to just pick something else, and I just keep coming back to it. Like, the number 1 overall pick in his first game on the road in a hostile environment like Denver, Mile High. Like, I just think there's going to be some growing pains early on for Cam Ward. And, you know, what Sean Payton and Bo Nix showed last year was that they were pretty impressive. Like, they showed some pretty strong stuff, made the playoffs. Obviously, it didn't work out after that. But, you know, I don't think, and then that defense, Us, it's really the defense. This is one of my buddies said to me, he goes, early in the season, a lot of the times offenses, although we saw it last night, offenses were buzzing pretty good, but they usually have a harder time getting going, where the defense, it tends to be right out of the gate with the defense. And if Denver's got the best defense in the league, we're going to find out on Sunday. So I'm going to roll with Denver, but I am very nervous. Like you said, I think it's going to be a heavy pick across the board for survivor pools, and it could blow a lot of things up if Denver finds a way to lose on Sunday.
Well, the Cowboys were the biggest dog of the entire week at 8.5, and they were certainly right in that game. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited to see Tennessee, although I don't think I'm going to take too much. This is a hell of a spot to put a rookie quarterback in, going on the road to Denver in week 1, and that's why Denver will be the most popular survivor pick of the week. Folks, enjoy NFL Week 1, Chiefs Chargers tonight. Check the ride with Huss and the combo cards later on for that one. Try and go back to back after a nice winner to start the season yesterday in the combo cards. And then, of course, the full slate on Sunday. Our partner parlay for the spread picks, the touchdown scorers will be in the combo cards. And if you want to jump on our player prop one, that's going to be in the exclusives. Still a couple of other exclusives that are there. The boost for the New Orleans Saints to have the most losses, that'll be up until the Saints play. So anyways, this is a great time to get out to Coolbet. And hey, if you haven't already, use that reload bonus. $50 gets you an extra 50. You use the promo code RELOAD25 over at Coolbet. Jake, just on the way out, anything for college football? Just very quickly, you want to rattle to us, or are you just locked in on the NFL right now?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I haven't even dived into the college slate. It's a pretty light one. Like, we had a pretty good week 1, and now week 2 is kind of it's kind of gross. Like, you almost don't want to bet. I think Michigan, Oklahoma is probably the big one. Iowa State, another big game. But you know, you look across the board, it's a lot of big schools playing the little guys, and you know they'll go get their blowouts, and then they'll focus on week 3. So nothing just yet. Maybe I'll tweet out a few picks for the college slate, but I'm trying to be a little bit more selective this year when it comes to college. Last year, I mean, every previous year, I love to just hammer the board and have a taste of everything, but trying to be a bit more selective, play what I like, and, stay away from the ones that I'm iffy on.
Maybe you put together just like the massive favorites. Like LSU's 37-point favorites over Louisiana Tech. You've got Texas Tech is now 49-point favorites, I think. They were 40. Yeah, they're 49-point favorites against Kent State. There's not even a money line offer on this one. And Texas, bad day to be San Jose State. You got to go into Texas after they lost to OSU, the get-right game for the Texas Longhorns. So maybe we'll cook up something with the massive ones like Texas Tech, Texas. We're going to be laying about 125 points if you want to make that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Penn State, I think they're like a 42-point favorite. So
it's ugly. Not a lot of great games, but again, CFL triple header on Saturday. Banjo Bowl, pick them between the Bombers and Riders. I'll be there. Going to be amazing. And then Sunday, we are back. Folks, great to have you all with us. Great to start this off. Huge thanks to Pat and Jake. And, of course, Coolbet, our presenting sponsor. All the lines at Coolbet, all our boosted parlays, everything up there. So jump on those. And hopefully we can have a hell of a week to start off the NFL season and keep it rolling throughout the year. That's going to do it for us. A big Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up on Friday at 1 p.m. We will be getting ready for Banjo Bowl, and we'll also be talking some NFL full Vikings preview with the Purple Insider, Matt Collar, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton coming on. So definitely join us at 1 p.m. And if you're listening on the podcast or the YouTube afterwards, thanks for doing it. Leave a comment with your favorite pick in the chat, and we'll look forward to seeing you every Friday, 10 a.m. Winnipeg time throughout the season with our best bets of the week here on WST Winners. For Jake Bolin Moss, Pat Gregoire, and of course, Connor Rabchak producing, I'm Andrew Paterson. Go Chiefs tonight. Have a great weekend, and join us every Friday right here for WST Winners. All right. Good stuff. Jake, do you have did you jot all that stuff down or do you need it now?